It was an icy cold morning, the kind that cuts through your jacket no matter how thick it is. I was on my way to grab a coffee before heading into work when I noticed him. A man sitting on the curb, his arms wrapped tightly around himself. He looked tired, with lines on his face that told a story of hard years. His clothes were mismatched and worn, and his shoes, if you could even call them that, were falling apart, with holes so big I could see his bare toes peeking through. I don't know what made me stop. Maybe it was the way he stared at the ground like he'd given up, or the shiver I could see running through him. "Hey, sir," I said, crouching down a little. He looked up, his blue eyes dull but polite. "Morning," he muttered, his voice rough. I glanced down at his shoes, my heart sinking. "Those don't look like they're doing much for you." He chuckled softly, shaking his head. "They're holding up, barely." I hesitated for a moment, then looked at my own shoes. They weren't brand new, but they were solid and warm. Without thinking much, I sat down next to him, took them off, and held them out. "Here," I said. He blinked, surprised. "You serious?" "Yeah," I said with a shrug. "I'll manage. You look like you need 'em more than I do." For a moment, he just stared at me, like he couldn't believe what was happening. Then he nodded slowly, taking the shoes with a quiet, "Thank you." As he slipped them on, I noticed the bag next to him. It was small and battered, the kind of bag that looked like it had seen better days. I don't know why I asked, but I did. "What's in the bag?" He stiffened a little, then gave me a wary look. "Just my stuff," he said, pulling it closer. I nodded quickly. "Sorry, didn't mean to pry." He relaxed a little, then sighed. "You gave me your shoes. Least I can do is show you." He unzipped the bag and carefully pulled out a few things, a crumpled photo of what looked like a younger him in uniform, a small Bible, and something shiny. I leaned in closer and felt my breath catch. It was a Medal of Honor. I stared at it, stunned. This is yours?" He nodded, his expression unreadable. "You're a hero," I whispered, unable to stop myself. He shook his head quickly. "No, I'm not. Just did what I had to do, like anyone else would've. Things didn't go so great after, though." His voice cracked a little, and I felt my chest tighten. Here was a man who had given so much, who had faced things I could never imagine, and he was sitting here, cold and alone on the side of the street. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to fix everything for him, to give him more than just my shoes. "Look," I said finally, "I can't pretend to understand what you've been through, but I know people who can help. Let me take you somewhere, get you some food, and see if we can get you back on your feet." He hesitated, his pride and vulnerability fighting a silent battle. Then he nodded. "Okay," he said quietly. We walked to a nearby diner, me in my socks, and him in my shoes. Over coffee and breakfast, he told me bits and pieces of his story, about his time in the service, the friends he'd lost, and how life had spiraled after he got home. That day changed my life. It wasn't just about giving someone a pair of shoes or a hot meal. It was about seeing a person for who they truly are, beyond their circumstances. He may have thought he wasn't a hero, but to me, he was. And I promised myself that I'd do whatever I could to make sure the world saw him that way too. Thank you for watching this heartfelt story. If it moved you or reminded you of the importance of kindness and respect, please share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with friends and family to spread this powerful message. And if you enjoy stories like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep sharing meaningful content. Thank you for being part of the Storyteller's Vault community.